Okay, so what we're going to do first is look at the chords for this song. Now you should have your sheet here, which gives you all the chords and the fingers that you should put on the chords. So you're welcome to just to pause at this point and just try these chords out that you're going to try. Now we're going to work on E minor first. We're going to work on C, G, D and A minor. Let's see, if you can only work on E minor, G and C, that's no problem, because that's probably the crux of the song and that's the first three to really work on and improve those. But do have a try at some point at A minor and D. As you expand your repertoire of chords, you'll get obviously a greater repertoire of songs that you can play as well. And you might find that certain chords in the song are kind of very muted, but you might get the general feel of the song. And the more you enjoy playing a song, the more you're likely to your fingers will get stronger. You'll deal with the string pain that you start with. So it will help your overall enjoyment of playing the guitar. So right, so I just want a quick guidance on playing and reading these chord charts. So if you're reading left to right here, as I'm hiding behind there, left to right. So the left string is this top string here, the lowest note. Although it's called the top string, it's the top in position on the guitar, but actually we call it the bottom string. So it's the lowest note, lowest pitch, la, instead of ah. Excuse my singing. And the zeros, the O's at the top, that means it's an open string. You play the string completely open without any fingers on it. If you ever see, for example, in the D chord, you see some X's, you have to try not to hit those strings. That's closed strings. You're not going to play those. So we're going to start with the E minor. It's got on your second fret. Now you've got, if you put your sheet in front of you, you've got your first finger on the second fret on the fifth string. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is called the A string on the fifth string. And you're going to put it on that one. And then you're going to put your second finger next to it. And as I may have said before, you want to make sure your thumb isn't too high up on the guitar. Probably center on the back of the guitar, so I have my thumb kind of about in that position. And you'll center on the guitar, and you're going to press and you're going to squeeze the guitar against your fingers. Now, obviously, your fingers may be out of practice, and you may not have calluses at the end. I've slowly removed all the nerves from the end of my fingers, and you will do that over time as you play the guitar more. So first finger, number one finger, which is this one, on the fifth string, the A string, on the second fret. This is 1, 2. There we go. And then your second finger on the string below it, on the D string, which is the fourth string. Okay, and you should be able to hear each string clearly. So as I've said before, you want to sound each string out. If you hear a muting, if you can hear this, then I can see, oh, my fingers are leaning against the other strings, and you have to kind of rotate your wrist around underneath the guitar and to try and work on your pincer movement without resting your finger on any other strings. Remember your fingernails, ladies, so make sure you cut your fingernails. If you haven't done this week, then work on that for next week, okay? So that's your E minor, and just play that. Feel free to strum if you know how to strum. Make sure it sounds nice and clean and open. This is one of the really sort of open string sounds on the guitar. It's got 4 strings that you don't have to touch, which is why it was one of the early ones we learned. Okay, so that's E minor. It's got the E string at the bottom and the E at the top as well. Next, you're going to play C. Okay, so you notice it's got an X at the top on the bottom string. So what I want you to do with that one, you can play that E string. It won't destroy the note, but it would be easier if you hit from the fifth string, which is this string down. So work on your 1 on the first fret, your first finger on the second string, which is second nearest the top, on the first fret. Then your next finger, your second finger is there's a gap of 2 strings, and you're on the second fret, and then the third finger is coming across here. So you've got a bit of a stretch. You might rotate your thumb around a little bit behind the back, but this one is your first chord with 3 strings in it. And I think the thing here you're looking at is making sure you're not touching any other strings. Try not to mute those strings. So my index finger actually presses quite a lot towards the fingernail, quite close, whereas the lower notes, I'm not coming from such a sharp angle. So you might just be aware of that. Okay, so that's your C, but you could play it with the E as well. It just gives a slightly different tone. So if you're struggling to get the notes to sound clearly and you just want to hit it all, that's fine. So that's C. Next is G. So this is second finger on the 3rd fret then on your 6th string, your E string. Next is your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, and then you're going to come right down here with your 3rd finger onto the 3rd fret, so right below your top finger here, but you're on the same fret. Now try not to lean your hand over again, try not to touch any other strings, and just sound it out nice and clearly. That's your G chord here. As you see, it's got 3 open strings in the middle. Again, it's a nice open sound. So if you put it with your E minor and G, you see your 1st finger is staying in the same place. E minor and G. So when you go from E minor to G. So just practice that playing E minor to G. If you need to pause this video at any time just to get the hang of each chord, please do. Don't feel you have to rush through. Okay, so often you can utilise fingers staying in the same location to make life a bit easier for you. Also, if you're going from E minor to C, which we'll do, you actually notice your 2nd finger stays in the same place. If you compare the 2 chord charts from E minor to C, you'll notice your 2nd finger is going to stay in the same place. So, and you're just changing these 2 fingers. But when I'm doing for E minor to C to G, when I come to G I have to take my fingers off. Now don't worry if you're not finding these chords quickly. That's what practice happens, and over time you gain a muscle memory. You think, oh, I know where that is, my fingers automatically go towards a chord. Even now when I'm learning new chords, I have to keep playing it over and over again, going from different chords to that chord to help me gain that muscle memory of where my fingers should go. So I might be up here, or and I have to remember, okay, I'm going to go from different chords and practice that transition, because the transition in itself is as important as the chord. Okay, so that's E minor, C, G. There are 2 more chords in this song. One is D, which we've done before. Now D, you'll notice, has 2 muted strings, and this time it really does make a difference. If you hit the E string at the very bottom string, this one here, it doesn't sound nice. It's a kind of E doesn't go so well with on the lower side with the D chord, so you want to try and strike it from the 4th string. If you do happen to hit the 5th string here, this A string here, you will still make a nice enough sound, but you really want to work on hitting that 4th string. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So all those 4 strings there. And then just try transitioning again to G, and then go back to D, then to G, and just rotate between some of the chords you've done before. So you go E minor, and I'm going to go to D, and then C. So you start practicing that transition between chords, and then the last chord that we've got then is A minor. Which is where we go. There we go. My fingers on this thing. Okay, so A minor's got an E string missing. So you try to play the E string, but it doesn't sound too bad with that, like the E minor. But if you just hit the 5th string down, then that sounds better. There is a cheat where you don't have to put your 2nd finger down, and that makes it A minor 7. That actually makes quite a nice sound. So if you want, then it actually is very similar to your C. If you play your C chord and just take that top finger off, you've immediately got your A minor 7th chord. So although you've got A minor written on your chord sheet, actually A minor 7th is also I use that quite a lot anyway. It's got quite a nice sound, which includes the 7th note of the 8 notes in the octave, and it just makes it kind of a transitionary chord. So again, just practice through all these different chords, but specifically A minor to D. So, because you're going to go, my God is greater, C, my God is stronger, G, God you are higher than D, any other, E minor, our God is healer, C, awesome in power, our God, G, D, our God. So you're going to use those, and A minor then comes in the verse as well, which you'll see in the chord video. So what I want you to do is focus on trying to learn these chords. Now, in the week as well, that would be great if you can just put some practice into getting those. And let's just slowly start to improve your repertoire of chords. Next will be, we'll look at strumming.